Obviously, like I told our guys, it's very disappointing when you come out so close, but we're not disappointed. I can't tell you how proud I am of, I say the seniors all the time, but how proud I am of all these guys. And, all the different circumstances and all the things that have gone on, not just this year, but especially in the last probably month and a half, and how these guys have handled it, how these guys have continued to move forward, how these guys have continued to take care of one another, is what this game is really all about. And tough. It hurts. Every one of those guys in there hurt because they care so much and they've worked so hard and sacrificed. And it is what it is. We'll be better because of it.
And we'll go ahead and open it up for questions for Cincinnati head coach Luke Fickell, as well as Desmond Ridder and Kobe Bryant. If you have a question, please use the raise hand function within Zoom. We'll call on people individually. And the first question comes from Charlie Goldsmith. And please be sure to direct your question to an individual so they know who is to answer.
Luke, in a lot of ways, the game came down to that last offensive drive you had. One, why were you snapping the ball with so much time on the clock? And two, what went into the decision to throw on third down?
What was the first question?
Why were you snapping the ball with so much time on the clock? And
why were you what? I can't hear what you said.
Snapping the ball with so much time on the clock gave Georgia about 20 seconds, and two, throw on third down, giving Georgia 40 more seconds.
Is that really, you serious? Because we're going to play to win, and we play to win, and we do what we do. It wasn't like we wanted to throw the thing. It was an opportunity. There was three different options to it. And, we're not going to go back wondering and trying to play the wishing and wanting game. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to go and give our guys an opportunity. There's a lot of different things that we do different when you go back hindsight, but we're going to play to win.
Next question comes from Anfernee Patterson.
Hey, Coach Fickell. What a great game. Crazy that, you have to be on the losing end of it. But my question is, what is the most important thing you take away from this team this season, even though you guys were able to come up short on the undefeated season? And what was Georgia doing differently in the second half, or was it something more on you guys' end that
I think we'll always take away the commitment that these kids have had this year for this. Nobody that hasn't, it's not a coach that's not a part of your training or doctor staff knows what everybody in this program and all the programs around the country have gone through this year. It's easy to sit back and watch and wish there were more people in the stands and things like that. But what these kids and these guys have gone through, these young men, what these coaches and what these doctors and everybody have gone through, I don't think you'll ever forget the sacrifices and the commitment from a lot of people. And I hope every one of our kids remembers that, because this is what life is really about. And you got to make sacrifices. You got to grow up, and no matter what the situations.
Just a reminder, if you have a question for Coach Fickell, Desmond Ridder, or Kobe Bryant, please be sure to use the raise hand function within Zoom. We'll call on people individually. The next person is Justin Williams.
Des, Coach mentioned kind of the options on that last 3rd and 2 play. Can you just go through kind of the call and what those options were and how you saw it unfold from your perspective?
So it was almost just a smash concept with Josh Wiley coming into the flat. We were expecting to get it to him quick. It was only 1-2 yards that we had to gain. And then their corner had jumped outside of it. All the defense had pushed to our spot route at 5 yards, and then they cut Mike loose. The ball just didn't get the ball hung up in the air, what felt like for an eternity. But if that ball got up and down quicker, then it would have been a completion.
Next question comes from Kelly Quinlan.
Coach Fickell, I was curious, you had a couple of plays where you were in 3rd and 2 and had some false starts on offense. Was there anything in particular you were seeing? Was it the shifts on the defensive line for Georgia that was causing issues, or?
Yeah, we've had some issues this year with that, and when you're mixing guys around in there, as the season's going to be, whether they're injuries or what's going on this entire year, those are those little things that playing more and more you got to clean up, and it's happened to us, I think, late in the year just because of some layoffs and things like that, but that's no excuse. they're shifting, they're moving, and people are going to do that. So we just got to be better at those things. That's for sure.
Next question comes from Chip Towers.
Yeah, Coach Fickell, great game and all that. How big do you think? How much of a factor do you think was the DQ of your starting left tackle in the first half? How much did that affect the game, you think?
Absolutely ridiculous. And I be honest with you, I don't know of any offensive lineman been thrown out of games this year. But it's a part of the game. It happens. It's the year of the teammate, and when one guy goes down, another guy's got to be able to step up. We not only had that, we had a couple guys in the last few hours or even the last few days that couldn't make it as well.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Brandon Seho.
Luke, we've talked about it, and you've mentioned it as a measuring stick. I know you didn't win the game, but you had the lead for all but 3 seconds of the game, and you went toe-to-toe with a top 10 team from the SEC team. Where do you think you measure up against the best of the best after that game?
We're not there just yet, and that's what keeps motivating you. And I think that there's a lot of things we're going to take from this that we know we can do. But it also helps us, makes us hungrier to say, hey, we know where we've got to get to, and there's a few other steps that we still got to be able to take, and closing it and sealing it, and and those kinds of things are one of those steps.
We have time for a few more minutes with Coach Fickell, Kobe Bryant, and Desmond Ridder. Next question comes from Gary McKillips.
Yeah, this one's for Kobe. Kobe, you had a great season overall, but now with this loss, how do you put this in perspective? What do you think about the season overall?
For it to be my last year, I had a ball. I appreciate all my teammates. We were all together as one, my brothers. I just had a ball, disappointed in the loss. Obviously, I wanted to win, but I wouldn't go to battle with nobody else besides my brothers. So I'm extremely grateful for them and Coach Fickell.
Another question from Charlie Goldsmith.
Desmond, can you just describe the emotion and the feeling and the anticipation of playing in this game?
Yeah, it's been a wild little week we've had. It's not been a normal bowl experience when we get to come down here for a week. But instead, we practiced back home until Wednesday, and then flew out here and had almost, just a 2-day business trip, like we like to say. So, we've been ready to play this game for a long time. It's just, disappointing, obviously, the way it ended.
Question from Chad Brendel.
Coach, quite a few guys out today. How proud of you guys are you of these guys for stepping up and, really not making it, didn't miss a beat with so many key guys missing?
Words can't tell you. And it's because of guys like these two right here that are leaders that, didn't bat an eye at James Wiggins or Ahmad or Jared Dokes. These guys went right to the next guy. And it's hard on some of those guys that just jumped in. Jerome Ford had to be thrown into a lot more action. But when you got a guys like Desmond Ridder that you can look at, making calls and the guy that's kind of the energy to all that they do, I know it makes it a lot easier. And they'll never know how proud that we really are about how they've handled a situation like that, like the entire year. But that's what sends you away proud.
Question from Neil Meyer.
This question is for Des. Could you just tell us what was going through your mind and what did you see on that 14-yard touchdown to Josh Wiley? You bought as much time as you could to find him in the end zone. Can you just tell us what was running through your mind on that play? Like, what did you see to open that play up?
Bought time, like you said, just bought time, and then keep my eyes downfield, trust small linemen, and then, just let playmakers make plays. Put the ball up, let them go make a play. It wasn't a perfect ball. Josh Wiley is one of our playmakers, and he made a play.
Okay, for just a couple more. We'll take one more from Justin Williams and then one more from Gary McKillips.
Coach, you mentioned playing to win on that 3rd and 2 call. We've seen you go for it in some of those 4th down situations. Knowing that was the call going into that 3rd down play, how much consideration was there on 4th down?
There was. But again, you rely on your defense and, so there's a lot of things that you go back and try to look at and say, hey, there's things you can do differently. But there was definitely a consideration. I think that the difficult thing is as big as they are up front, knowing and trying to get some of those or shorter yard situations. I don't know that was the greatest advantage for us. So we were going to put it in our defense's hands and give them the opportunity to win the game for us.
Okay, and final question comes from Gary McKillips.
Okay, Kobe, just one more. The fact that you came so close today, do you feel you guys can compete against any Power 5 school?
Absolutely. We have the right coaches to prepare us, the right mentality. So absolutely, I have no doubt in that.
He doesn't know what that means. We don't use that word, that P and whatever that is. So they know no difference. They know what the SEC really is. And it's a really, really good conference with really, really good teams and great players. But we don't look at anybody any different. Obviously, there's conferences that are historic and great, and teams. I mean, Georgia, it doesn't matter what conference they were in. It doesn't matter what P was in front or after their name. That's a great football team, and we love the challenge.